On the first school day, May is happy and rushes to her school classes and takes some pictures. At one point, she notices her classmates start running towards the school, noticing a student named Bing on the roof. She is crying because she is in love with a guy named Ji, who doesn't pay attention to her. The girl is ready to jump and get even with her life. Ji is sure that this is manipulation and asks to stop watching the organized show, believing that Bing will not jump down. Soon, Jae appears outside the school, arriving in a luxury car. Jae tries to say hello to the guy, but he ignores the beauty, paying no attention to her. Instead of intervening in what is happening, Ji attacks one of the schoolboys and hits him, pushing him to the ground. He attacked him because the bully intimidated the weaker schoolchildren, but this is not allowed to be done by anyone but the son of the president of the Dragon family's company. Ji is the most popular and intimidating student in the school, so only he has the right to bully other students. Bing goes downstairs to confess her love to the boy and tries to kiss him. Ji pushes the girl away, causing her to fall to the ground. The schoolchildren silently watch what is happening, but May can't ignore the situation. She helps the unfortunate Bing and turns to Ji, asking why and wherefore he is doing this. Unexpectedly for May, Bing defends the bully, stating that he is allowed to do whatever he wants. This disappoints the girl, as the bully should get what he deserves. She goes to the principal's office to pick up her papers. Ji intervenes in the conversation, clashing with the principal and tearing up Mi's documents that were lying at his fingertips. Mi intervenes in the dialogue and asks the guy to apologize to the principal for treating him badly, but Ji has no intention of doing so, as his family owns the school and he can do as he pleases. Upon hearing this, May becomes speechless and the principal asks her to leave his office as soon as possible. A little later, May goes to class, where she meets her classmates. The boys immediately take notice of her because she looks like she's starring in a fashion magazine. The girls hear this and also discuss May's looks, but they do so with envy. Bing thanks the girl for her help because she was the only one who helped her in a difficult situation. She also notes that May is very beautiful and has graced the cover of a fashion magazine. Upon hearing this, Shay declares that no one would buy a magazine with that face on the cover. Then she throws it to the ground with a look of disdain. May sees this but ignores the situation, not giving Shi's act much thought. Meanwhile, Shahi goes to a car repair shop where he meets up with his classmates. The guys are curious about what he will do after graduation, but the guy has no ideas and is willing to listen to their suggestions. One of the friends suggests becoming a car racer, but Ji realizes that he won't be able to succeed because of his mediocre results. A second friend suggests studying artificial intelligence, but Ji finds this plan too boring. As soon as May returns home, her family welcomes her with clappers and offers to celebrate her first day of school. Her parents are curious about how her introduction to the students went and ask her to tell them everything that happened at school. May hides minor problems and says that she is doing well, after which her mother informs her that she has signed another contract for her daughter to collaborate with a fashion magazine. This will allow the girl to earn enough to be in the same financial position as her classmates and provide for her family. May is upset by this behavior of her mother because she didn't even ask her if she wanted to sign this contract. Moreover, money is not something the girl cares too much about because she wants to feel free and enjoy simple things, among which are studies, friendship, and love. Going to her room, May corresponds with a boy with whom she has known on the internet for several months. In the course of communication, the boy informs her that he may come to see her soon, which makes May very happy. Anticipating the imminent meeting, she imagines the first date and what the guy looks like. The next morning, the girl can't contain her smile as she looks forward to meeting the guy in person. During lunch, May decides to eat a sandwich when she suddenly remembers that the contract signed by her mother forbids her to eat in public places. Trying to distract herself somehow, she decides to read a textbook to improve her English. At the same moment, Ji arrives at the school, which creates a lot of noise that interferes with learning. Angry, May rushes to him and kindly asks him to stop making noise, but the guy ignores her, continuing to make a loud engine roar. The girl insists on her own, but Ji and his friends remind her that the place where she reads belongs to his family, which means the guy can do whatever he wants. The girl reacts rudely to the situation and insults Ji, hurting his ego for the first time. A little later, Ji and his friends try to find information about the girl to find out what she is. The rich man wants to find dirt on Mei, or something that will get her expelled from school for allowing herself to insult a member of the dragon family. The next morning, Ji shows up to class and leaves a threatening letter for the girl. Everyone watched this scene, causing rumors to start spreading in the school. The girl is laughed at and mocked, but she doesn't seem to react in any way and tolerates all the mockery. On one of these days, Bing reports that Ji left her a box with a gift, inside of which there is a terrible doll. The guy is not going to leave Mei alone until the girl leaves school, but she is not ready to give up and put her hands down. A little later, before the beginning of the gym class, two schoolgirls pour water on Mei and then sprinkle flour on her, ruining her sports uniform. The girl has to change her clothes, but the teacher punishes her for being late and not wearing her gym uniform. As punishment, she has to run a few laps around the stadium while the other schoolgirls taunt Mei and stand aside. After class, the girl goes to the nurse to have her wounds and calluses rubbed by inappropriate shoes treated. The woman is curious to understand how it happened, but Mei doesn't blame anyone, claiming it was an accident. A while later, Ji decides to talk to the girl in person. He is kind of taken aback by her courage, as Mei has decided to stay in school despite the constant pranks and bullying. Mei declares that Ji turned out to be a mediocre guy who lacks creativity, then offers to shake hands to make up, but the guy ignores the opportunity. In class, the teacher separates the students into pairs. Mei and Bing will work together since no one wants to socialize with them. A little later, the friends go to the library to prepare for the lesson, but soon Bing leaves on his own. At the same time, Jia's friends appear here, who realize that the girl is able to resist the rich man and she should be expelled from school. Having thought up another prank, one of them distracts Mei's attention, and the second steals the girl's laptop. Being exposed, the bullies try to escape from Mei and hide behind Jia's back. The girl asks to return the laptop, but the guy rejects her because this thing is not in his hands, which means that she should return it to herself. Realizing that she needs to keep her composure because of the magazine contract, Mei offers to negotiate. Ji says that she has only two options to get the laptop back: continue to endure the humiliation or leave the school. When Mei doesn't agree to either option, Ji offers her a third option. He hands her a document stating that she will become his maid with a long list of obligations. After reading all the conditions, the girl is shocked because it looks like slavery, but the guy assures her that she has no other options. Realizing that there is really no choice, the girl decides to sign the contract and become Jia's maid. Starting the next morning, the girl's life turns into a real nightmare. In the middle of the lesson, she receives a message demanding her to take toilet paper to the men's room. Mei finds this humiliating, but has no choice, so she leaves class to fulfill the maid's task. Once in the men's room, the girl finds herself in an even more embarrassing situation as Jia's friends film what is happening and threaten to publish the video. The girl can hardly hold back her tears and doesn't understand why the guy is bullying her so much, but Ji declares that it's all just for fun. As the second task, Mei has to tear out a strand of hair from her judo teacher. After going to practice, the girl gathers up her courage and challenges the teacher to a duel. During the fight, she manages to complete the task and proudly declare it, which makes Yi angry. The next morning, the girl continues to be a maid and brings coffee for the boy and his companions. They mock Mei and make her replace the coffee, so she runs around a lot and feels tired. At one point, the girl asks to be let go, but Ji orders her to finish her homework instead. Mei would like to refuse, but decides to write a ridiculous story to put the guy in an awkward situation. The next day, the teacher congratulates Ji for his wonderful imagination and good spelling. She reads his work aloud and the students laugh at the guy, but the teacher gives him the highest grade. Despite this, Ji loses control of his emotions because he can't stand the fact that others laugh at him. During the next lesson, the guy addresses the girl by video, stating that she violated the terms of the contract and a cruel punishment will follow. A little later, the girl goes to the cafeteria and Ji notices a wound on her knee. Showing concern, the guy helps to treat the wound, but claims that this is not an interest in her, but an attempt to help the maid to continue serving him. Afterward, Ji picks up the lunch May brought him, but she won't let him eat, admitting that she dropped the food on the floor and the dishes are dirty. In fact, the girl lied to leave the guys hungry because the food was fine, she just gave it to the puppy outside. The next morning, the girl prepares to meet the guy she's been chatting with online. The brother notices May and admits that she is too pretty, assuming that the sister is in love. She asks him to shut up and explains that she is going to meet the guy from her online correspondence and asks him not to tell her parents. As soon as May leaves the house, she is met by Ji with a new errand. She asks for a day off as she has important things to do today, but the guy is adamantly against it, as her only task is to serve him. At the end of the dialogue, Ji takes the girl to the store to buy her new clothes. She tries to escape, but nothing works out, so May has to write a message to the guy that the time and place of the meeting will be changed. The girl tries on several dresses, but none of them are to Jia's liking. After receiving a message from the guy, she again looks for a way to escape from the store and goes to a cafe, where she finds her drawing and meets the same she was chatting with online. A little nervous, the pair choose a free table and are unsure how to start chatting. She notices that May has a tag on her dress and asks what happened and how come. The girl says she has to leave to go to the restroom and goes back to the clothing store to change, then heads back to the cafe for her date. Soon after, the girl pretends to get a phone call and leaves again to return to the store to pay for the purchase of the dress. When May returns to the cafe again, she gives her a book. The girl feels sympathy for the caring guy, believing they could be a perfect couple, but she receives another call from the store. Assuming that something has happened, May hurries back, but notices Ji looking for her. He notices the girl and tries to figure out what happened and why she ran away. While May is trying to explain herself to Ji, she appears behind her, exposing the girl's deception of forgetting her purse at the cafe. Caught in an awkward situation, May notices that the guys know each other and asks them about it, but they deny it. The three of them end up going to the cafe, where Ji reveals that May works for him as a maid, but also accuses her of childish and immature behavior. As they chat, the girl again concludes that Ji and she are well acquainted with each other. She admits that he spent a lot of time abroad, communicating with May only online, but decided to come to meet the girl in person. He also states that he knows about all of May's humiliations since she has written about it in messages. Feeling awkward between the two guys, the girl struggles to keep from laughing. She suggests that Ji stop playing games with the girl, but realizes that there's no changing his mind, so he ends the date early and leaves, leaving Ji and May alone, whereupon Ji finally reveals that he and she are old childhood friends. Upon returning home, May thinks about what happened and realizes that she is very embarrassed. In the evening, she writes to her to see if the girl liked his drawing. What's more important to her is what happened between them and to understand if she is upset about it all. After all, it was their first date. After finding out that everything is fine between them, May goes to bed happy. Meanwhile, Ji meets with his grandfather, who thinks it's time for the guy to finish his studies to take care of the family in the near future. Realizing that his grandson is not responsible enough, his grandfather orders him to find a tutor so that Ji can finally finish school and start working. Unprepared for adulthood, Ji suggests May as a tutor, convincing the family that she would be perfect for the position. The next day, Ji arrives at school and asks May to open his car door. He then shows the girl the new contract, offering her to be his tutor, but is turned down. Ji explains that this is not a whim or an offer, but an order that she is forced to accept the new contract, becoming both his maid and tutor. May is shocked because Ji will take up all her free time and she will not be able to go out on dates. In the evening, the girl tells her parents about everything and her father supports her, but her mother makes her obey, because Ji is from the dragon family, the most respected in their country. Her brother realizes that they are insanely rich, so he also advises May to agree so that she will provide for their family. In the end, the mother suggests not only accepting the job, but also trying to get Ji to fall in love with her so she can be part of the rich family. The father overrides the mother by stating that May should only do what makes her happy, but this leads to a scandal within the family. At the same time, May decides to agree and becomes Jia's tutor. The next morning, the girl goes to the house of a rich bully and first of all gets acquainted with his mother, who turns out to be a very pleasant and kind woman. While waiting for her boyfriend, the girl finds herself in the library and tries to get a book from the top shelf. Appearing in the room, Ji helps May and tells her that she must beg him for everything she wants to do in his house. After receiving a rude refusal, Ji throws the book out the window, which upsets the girl. She is sure that nothing matters to the guy except money, but he declares that this is not true and orders her to apologize for her empty accusations, but May does not. At school, Shehi notices that Ji and his friends are still spending too much time on the girl, so he offers to prank her. The girls agree to slip a laxative into their coffee and watch with interest as May tries it. The girl with a stomachache urgently runs to the bathroom, and Bing, who guessed the joke, changes glasses for May and Shehi. Soon she rushes to the toilet and learns that May and Bing understood everything in advance, so the girl did not taste the drink, leaving all its contents to the devious Shita. In the evening, Shita organizes a romantic dinner and invites May on a date. After drinking a little, the couple looks at photos from the family photo album. Noticing one picture, the girl wonders who is depicted on it. As it turned out, they're Ji and she, but he was in a girl's dress, since one of the friends liked to dress him up like her doll. The girl then ends up at Ji's house and accidentally comes face to face with him after the guy had taken a bath. Seeing the guy with no clothes on, May is greatly embarrassed and puts Ji in an even more awkward position, since she is the first one who has watched him like this. Stating that this action should have consequences, Ji declares that from this day forward, May will be his girlfriend. The next morning, the boyfriend comes to pick up May at home to give her a ride to school. On the way, the girl admits that she didn't want to see Ji without her clothes on and asks him to forgive her, leaving her alone once and for all. The guy is sure that he is the dream of all girls and doesn't take no for an answer from May, saying that she simply has no right to choose. Soon she learns about all this and suggests to an old friend to arrange a car race where the winner will become Mi's real boyfriend. The guys start the race, but in the middle of the race, Ji learns that May is in trouble with her attacker Shehi. Realizing that the girl is in danger, Ji rushes to the school and protects her. A few days later, May has a fight with Ji over tearing up some concert tickets that Shehi bought. Going for a walk all alone, the girl meets Heiji, a violinist who has lifted her spirits with his music. Believing him to be a street musician, May leaves the money and asks him to play again, but is refused. On her way home, she meets Heiji again, who decides to play for her, but she runs away without money to pay him. The next morning, the girl meets Heiji and realizes that he is not a homeless musician, but her teacher. After class, all the girls at school ask Heiji for his autograph, except for May, who feels awkward. She apologizes for mistaking him for a homeless musician, and the man invites her to dinner. At the same moment, Shiki appears and asks him to stay away from his girlfriend. The next morning, Shiki approaches Mai during lunch in the dining room and shows her a picture of the girl in a relationship with Ji on her phone. Mai, surprisingly, the angry girl reacts too calmly, saying that it's in the past and she doesn't care who her boyfriend dated. Losing control of her emotions, Shai throws food at her, but Mai still remains calm. Walking outside, Mai becomes nervous when she meets Jai with the girl she saw in the photo. June turns out to be an incredibly attractive girl. Moreover, the rich man brought her in his car and acts like a real gentleman. Soon the girl calms down when she learns that for Jaya, she is just a family friend. Moreover, June has a boyfriend, and it is a violin teacher, Heigi. June visits the teacher and asks for piano lessons since she hasn't practiced in a while. Heiji scolds the girl, but she asks him not to be strict with him. The couple hasn't communicated for a long time because of the distance, so Heiji asks June to take her time and be patient while they reconnect with each other. In the evening, Ji-ai invites Mai to a party organized by June. After the party, the girls admire the night city and discuss the guys. June asks her not to be picky with Ji because the guy has had a hard life and doesn't understand how to express his emotions properly. At the same time, Jun is sure that Ji-ai is in love with Mai. He just can't admit it. It also turns out that Heiji is Ji's older brother, with whom June wants to get closer and asks Mai to help her. In the end, the girls become friends and agree to go on a hike in the mountains together. The next morning, the girl is going to the mountains without noticing that her brother has stolen her phone. Jun calls to cancel due to feeling unwell, but she is answered by her brother Mai. Ji learns that June has a high fever and takes her to the hospital. There she announces her desire to meet Mai and go to the mountains. After learning that Mai is in the mountains and there is a thunderstorm, Jia goes in search of the girl. At the foot of the mountain, he learns that there was a storm at the top, causing part of the cliff to collapse. Frightened, Ji desperately searches for Mai and at one point loses hope, believing that she has lost her life. At the same moment, the girl appears behind him and the guy, overjoyed, embraces her and kisses her passionately. When he returns home, he keeps thinking about it and then calls Shi to tell the news and ask him to leave the girl alone. Shi is not going to back down and obey Jia's orders, so he is sure he can get Mai. After calling Mai, Shi is convinced that Jie didn't lie, but instead of giving up hope, he asks the girl out on a date. A few months later, Mai participates in an athletics competition. Shi prepares a trap in the middle of the track and changes the direction of the route, as a result of which the girl goes off the course and runs away into a dense forest, where she soon realizes that she is lost. Noticing that Mai has not finished the race, Heigi goes in search of her. In the evening, he finds the girl and treats her wounds, after which the pair stay the night in the forest. In the morning, Ji learns of Mei's disappearance and goes in search of her. Seeing the girl in her older brother's arms, Jae is jealous and asks him not to touch her. After taking Mai in his arms, Ji takes her home and forbids her to communicate with her older brother. The next morning, the brothers meet at school and Ji asks Heiji to stay away from his girlfriend. The teacher is sure that Mai is capable of making her own decisions, so he is not going to obey his younger brother, continuing to be a good friend to her. A week later, the students throw a party, which is run by Ji's older brother, ordering the students to have fun. Ji is still jealous of her brother and Mai because of the night they spent in the woods and pulls away from the girl. Soon the brothers start fighting over the girl again, and she has to leave so that she doesn't become the cause of their conflicts. In the evening, Shihi publishes pictures of Mai dating 3 guys at once, which makes her look bad. The girl also claims that Mai only chose Jadi because he is the rich heir to the dragon family. The offended girl runs away to the beach and gets caught in the rain. Shi rushes after her and asks her to forgive him for the awkward situation Shehi has created. Mai doesn't trust the guy, but during the argument he falls into the water. The girl jumps in after him to try and save him, but after losing control, the pair begin to drown. Heiji rescues Mai and Ji, but loses his strength, causing him to be swept away by the current. Arriving at the hospital, the dragon family learns of what has happened and realizes that Heigi has disappeared without a trace. The grandfather organizes a search and orders Mai to leave the hospital, believing her to be involved in the disappearance of his eldest grandson. The next morning, Mai tries to visit JD, but the guards kick her out of the hospital. The girl goes to the place where she listened to Gigi play the violin. Tired, she cries as she suddenly appears, trying to support the girl in her time of need. Shai reports that Jai is still unconscious in the hospital, and the girl thinks she is responsible for what happened and asks the guy to stay away from her. Shai hugs and supports Mai, promising that everything will be okay. Soon Mai is kicked out of school, and her father is fired without explanation. The girl tries to find another school, but is rejected everywhere because of an incident at sea with the dragon family. Realizing that she has no chance for education here, Mai decides to leave for another city. Before leaving, she meets up with Ji's friends to help her sneak into the hospital. Seeing Ji unconscious, the girl cries, after which she leaves for another city with Shi, realizing that this is only the beginning of her story.